This is Michael Cohen. Today's topic is about required minimum distributions, or also known as RMDs. You know, many people save for retirement. The government encourages you to save for retirement by giving you either a tax deduction or tax deferral until you reach the age where you have to start making distributions, and then you get income tax. A lot of people are surprised that they say, what do you mean the government's, I have to get income tax? Well, they wanted you to save retirement, so they gave you these incentives. But eventually somebody has to pay the tax. If you were 70 and a half before January 1st, 2020, then you're already making required minimum distributions, or you should be. Otherwise, you have to take out distributions by the year that you turn 72, or actually by April 1st of the year that you following the year that you turned 72. You can still make contributions if you're still working, whether it be to a regular IRA or to a Roth IRA. However, you'll still have to make the distributions by April 1st of the year following that you turn 72. Now, it's different for a 401k depending on the plan. On 401ks that a lot of people have with their companies, it depends on the plan, and it could be deferred as far as those distributions. But so you'll have to look at your plan if you're still working and you have a 401k. That's not going to be applicable to the owner, by the way. It's going to be to employees. Or somebody that has more than 5% of the company would not be able to follow that exception. Some people want to give to their charities. Before I even begin to talk about the charitable distributions, what happens if you have not, if you take out before or after the required age? If you take out before age 59 and a half, you will get an extra 10% tax in addition to, as a penalty, in addition to paying the tax. There is one exception to the rules, but it's kind of difficult to, too difficult to explain on this particular recording. For those who turned 72, let's say you turned 72 in year 2022, then technically if you don't make that distribution, certainly by April 1st of the year following the year that you turned 72, then you will have a 50% excise tax. Ouch, that's a lot of tax. So be careful on that. The other, I think I should mention that some people don't need the income, so a lot of times they give directly from their IRA to a charity or a church. When you do that, if it's what's called a QCD, when it goes directly to that charitable organization, it is not income taxed. You don't get a charitable deduction, but it's not income taxed. They look at the value as of the date, as far as how much the required minimum distribution. They look at the value of the IRA of the year that you turned, let's say 72. In other words, if somebody turned 72 in year 2022, then we would look at December 31st, 2021 to see what the valuation is, how much is required to be taken out. So then you have to maybe make some tax decisions whether you think the market's going to go up or down as to whether you take it out earlier or later. I'll mention one further thing on IRAs, and that's on Medicaid. If you are making the required minimum distributions, then the IRA will not count as a resource for Medicaid. They would look at the RMD, the required minimum distribution, as income in the month of receipt. So it's a good thing here in Texas. Most states don't follow those rules for Medicaid, but an IRA doesn't count as a resource. However, 401ks at the present time do count as a resource, so sometimes people roll it over into an IRA, so it will not count. And if there's a beneficiary designated, it avoids Medicaid estate recovery. One final thing I should mention too, that even though the law is right now that at the time of this recording that you don't have to take it out until the year that you turn 72, we do anticipate the law to change. It'll be 73 and then eventually 74 and then 75 because people are living longer. They haven't changed the rules as I speak at this time of this recording, but I do anticipate that law to change in the near future. Stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed this and hope you learned something.